topic of integrated reporting, IR, and extensible business reporting language, XBRL. So I will start with the introduction of IR and XBRL. We will start with the first one, integrated reporting, IR. A culture of transparency, reliability, and stability. The IRC, International Integrated Reporting Council, has developed, promoted, and released a framework for IR in 2013. It establishes principles and concept of the overall content of IR. The IR demonstrates to the providers of financial capital how a recipient organization creates value over time, and how their strategy, governance performance, and prospect contribute to value creation. The MIA develops and regulates the accountancy profession to strengthen the capacity and competency of accountancy professionals, all in line with the IR reporting framework. IR offers a wider and detailed view of the company in a holistic approach. It includes meaningful information relating to business value. We will continue with Extensible Business Reporting Language (XBRL). It is a digital enhanced version of paper-based financial statements. It can handle data in different accounting standards and present it in various languages. It is not a software, rather a standard that establishes rules and encoding data. It is a platform where exchange of financial data takes place.
Hi, my name is Aina and I will continue the presentation. It is about the framework of the integrated reporting, which is principle-based framework, and also the reporting relationship with its stakeholders. Principle-based framework. It does not have the specified detailed disclosure or measurement standard, and this enables each company to set out its own report and also enable companies to communicate their value creation better than the disclosures under IFRS. Plus, it gives the report more business relevance rather than the compliance-led approach currently used. And the objective of this framework is to establish principles and content that governs the report, and also to explain the fundamental concepts that underpin them. Relationship with stakeholders. To provide insight into the nature and quality of the organization's relationships with its key stakeholders, including how and to what extent the organization understands, takes into account, and responds to their legitimate needs and interests. Stakeholders include employees, customers, trade unions, regulators, government, banks, communities, the media, and also civil society.
Okay, good evening, and I'm going to talk creation and materiality. In the context of integrating reporting, value creation is a core concept being mentioned over work as the process that results in increases, decreases, or transformation of the capital caused by the organization's business activities and outputs in International Integrating Reporting Council. It relies on the first statements that we find in IIRF and declare on observable focus on value for investors, shareholder value. The aim is to improve the quality of information available to providers of financial capital to enable a more efficient and productive allocation of capitals. And the primary purpose of an IR is to explain to providers of financial capital how an organization creates value over time. Second, we can go more thoroughly into the IIRF as understand that the value concept has actually two aspects: value created for organization and value created for others concept, which are strongly connected with each other. The first aspect would be equal with shareholder value since it enables financial returns to the providers of financial capital, and the second aspect would refer to stakeholder or public value as the examples provided for others, our stakeholders, and society at large. The next slide is to know who assess value for integrated reports purposes. Integrated report should enable providers of financial capital to assess whether to what extent and how an organization use of and outcomes for all the capitals add to financial value. The primary intended audience for IR and other communication resulting from the process of IR as providers of financial capital. A range of stakeholders are benefit from IR as they are specially intended to enable providers of financial capital to gain an understanding of how an organization creates and sustains value in short, medium, and long term. Actions of various government, non-government, and other organizations seek to align more closely investors' financial interests and corporate practices with public interests. Investors are already place a value on company either indirectly. Other stakeholders are also likely to benefit from IR and to have their views taken into account by organizations when preparing IR. Next, the information that enables readers and users of integrated reports to assess value creation. They have a description of the business model including inputs, business activities, output and outcomes and links to the organization strategy, communicating performance, what type of value of the organization intends to create, how, for whom and why, management's assessment of whether the intended value has been created, management assessment of the way in which various forms of capital have been affected by the business model so as to create or destroy value, governance, innovation and future outlook, stakeholder engagement, the external context in which the organization operates, value drivers, and the connection between a wide range of factors including business activities and the wider system and context in which they operate, including planetary limits and societal expectations. Next is materiality. For the purpose of IR, a matter is material if it is of such relevance and importance that it could substantially influence the assessments of providers of financial capital with regard to the organization's ability to create value over the short, medium, and long term. In determining whether or not a matter is material, senior management and those charged with governance should consider whether the matter substantively affects or has the potential to substantively affect the organization's strategy, its business model, or one more of the capital it uses or affects. The importance of material is that it play a crucial role in determining the matters to be included in an IR and ensuring conciseness of the report. Materiality and conciseness form one of the guiding principles that inform the content and presentation of an IR as well as the process through which it is prepared. Next is the materiality determination process. Determining materiality for purposes of preparing an IR involves three steps. The first step is identifying relevant matters. It is based on whether the matter has a past, present, or future effects on the organization's ability to create a value over time. Second step is to assess the importance of those matters in order to determine their ability to substantively influence assessments about the organization's ability to create value over time by evaluating either magnitude of the effect. The step 3 is to prioritize the matter identified. To identify material matters will allow all material matters to be brought to their attention. The next one I would like to
Hi,
pass to the next presenter.
Hi, I'm Atira and I will explain about benefit of integrated reporting. There are various benefits implementing integrated reporting in the organization and one of them is improving relationship with stakeholders. Stakeholders in the organization will prefer organizations that provide IR as this demonstrates the sincere efforts and honesty of the organization in their reports. This is because in IR, the organization will be more open to explain in detail about the company. Another benefit of applying IR is connecting more integrated department and management through integrated thinking. Organizations that strive in implementing IR can encourage departments within the business to work together rather than operate as a standalone unit. Next, the benefits of IR are being able to improve internal understanding of business issues and performance. Organizations that publish IR can provide the organization with a broader view of the factors that drive business performance improvement. This is because organizations that publish IR indirectly will focus on outputs, and revenue of business. Thus, an internal understanding of improved strategies will make it easier for organizations to focus on the value creation of business. In addition, the benefit of applying IR is that organizations can improve performance in decision making. This is because one of the elements of IR content in the framework requires companies to survey the uncertainties that may occur in the future that have potential implications for the business model. There is a looking forward approach and will enable management to identify ways to improve in the coming years. Last but not least, the benefit of IR is that can increase the focus of the organization or business management on long-term sustainability. It is because one of the frameworks in IR is to give an idea of how value are created more effectively in the short, medium, and long term. Therefore, management will be more focused on the financial stability and long-term risk of the organization. So I think that's all from me and I will pass to the next presenter.
Hi, my name is Noriza Hidayah and I will be presenting about XBRL. As been explained by my friend earlier, Nisa, XBRL is a short form for Extensible Business Reporting Language. XBRL is an international standard reporting which were managed by global non-profit organization that is known as XBRL International. SBRL was created to help businesses or firms to process and communicate the financial data automatically and easily. This is because SBRL provides a language which reporting terms can be authoritatively defined and uniquely represent contents of financial reports so that the reporting information can accurately move between organizations. Just how the film camera changed to digital camera, PDF-based report also can change to XBRL format, which make it a lot easier to interpret data. Their accessible nature show that they can easily meet different requirements and needs from different industry or country. The objective of XBRL is to enhance the accessibility of financial information and to support more informed business and investing decision, including greater comparability across the enterprises. They believe that this movement to digital financial reporting will be utilized faster, better, and cheaper. All right, next let's look into the tax. So what is the tax? Tax is a form of catalogs or chart of account which contain data that are used for the presentation and definition of information. For example, label, data type, or period type. The process of tagging each data by giving the unique identity to each group allow the XBRL to classifying and organizing financial data. Tags were defined and maintained in the taxonomy, which I will be explained a little bit later on. So, the characteristic of unit tags allow people to publish report confidently because the information contained is analyzed accurately. So, by using XBRL, the information in reports is interchangeable between different information systems in different organizations. Besides, people use the tag to test them against a set of business and logical rules in order to keep track and avoid mistakes at their source. People also use the information that suits their needs the best. For example, by using different languages or different currency or using their own preferred style. Thus, the barcode for reporting is the terms that is often used because SBRI characteristic which makes reporting more accurate and efficient. So as been promised, I will explain a little bit about the taxonomy. So what is taxonomy? Taxonomy are reporting area specific hierarchical dictionary that were used by XBRL to identify information included in this digital financial reporting. Different taxonomy will be needed in different business reporting purposes. For example, a registrant can create new tags that may be unique to its own circumstances. Many different organizations will require their own unique taxonomy to cover their own specific business reporting needs. It has been said that SBRL were designed to be flexible in order to support all aspects of financial reporting across organization or country. Okay, so we already know about the what is SBRL, about the tax and the taxonomy. So who use the SBRL? Okay, now we will look further into the SBRL user. The quality, consistency of report, and usability of SBRL has reached many organizations from both private and public sector. For example, government, company, regulators, data providers, accountant, analysts, or investor, which they use the XBRL for different purposes. So here I provide four example of XBRL user. Okay, first let's look into regulators. Okay, so what is regulator? Regulator is a person or an organization that was assigned by a government to regulate an area of activity. For example, financial regulator. Financial regulator use the SBRL because they need significant amount of risk information about the institution they have to regulate.
Hello,
Okay, next.
presenters. Could you please hold on for the 5 minutes or few minutes because at this one we have Azan.
SBRL or an information about the institution they have to regulate. Okay, next is security regulators. Securities regulators use the SBRL to analyze performance of listed company to ensure that the information is available to consume and analyze. Okay, lastly is tax authority. Uh, Tax authority need financial information to process and review their corporate tax affair. Okay, next is company. The company use the XBRL because they need to provide their company information to the regulators in order to check whether their business is working according to official rules or law. Okay, next is government. Government use the SBRL reporting in order to improve government reporting by standardizing the consolidated or transactional report prepared. And last but not least is analyst and investor. Analysts use the SBRL reporting to understand relative risk and performance. Meanwhile, investors use the SBRL to compare the potential investment and understand the underlying performance of existing investment. So I guess that's all from me. Next, I will pass to my friend Auni to explain more about the benefit of SBRL. Thank you. Hi, my name is.
For the last part, I will talk about the benefits of SBRL in Malaysia. For your information, Companies Commissions of Malaysia (CCM) already implement XBRL in financial reporting. Here are some benefits that CCM got by adopting XBRL. The first one is the information is capable to be translated into different languages. Second, implementation of XBRL will make it easier for CCM and Malaysia as a whole to exchange or share company information among regulators. Third, XBRL also promotes the analysis of financial reporting, which is for decision making, and assists CCM in the identification of fraud and other compliance issues. Fourth, reduce the time and cost of collecting financial or non-financial information, as XBRL can result in saving on data, entries activity as well as the transfer of data formatting, as with less human interference. And the last one is enhanced data integrity and reliability, as the data collection process will require validation tasks, automated mathematical calculations, and the removal of errors. Okay, next I will talk about the status of SBRL worldwide. SBRL is used in 60 countries worldwide by more than 1 million focus by Europe in order to share the consistently structured data. So here are some examples of countries that apply SBRL. The first one Belgium, France, Spain, Germany, and Netherlands. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to the presenters. It's a given. Alhamdulillah. Class, for your information, it is very important to all of you to try to think how SBRL will help the users. Okay, I'm repeat, try to think how the SBRL will help the users. Okay, when I say the users, it might be the preparers, it might the end users, it might be the intermediaries of the business organizations, and it's going to be a lot affected to several group of people. So in general, there are few ways how the SBRL going to help the users. Okay, the first one, I just give it to you, is based on the extraction of the data set. And second one is based on the validation of the data key in the system. And on the third one is going to be useful whenever you can get that data into a some representations based on the needs of the management at that time. And you also can use this system or this approach in order to validate. I mean, the validation activities going to be useful for the users. I repeat, extractions, conversions, validation, and visualizations. Okay, these are very common ways on how the SBRL going to be really useful to the users. So I think that's all for today. And inshallah, on next week, we are going to have on our last class for this course, right? And inshallah, for those who are going to have a last presentation, please make sure you are going to have a very outstanding presentation in this semester. And inshallah, on next week, also, I'm starting going to give you some comments on your written report so that you can have some further amendment in order to have a good marks on your written reports. So with that, we just end up our class with Tasbih Kafarah and Surah Al-As. Okay, take care, please take care yourself and please take care your family and see you again on next week.